I'm Tad Flaky, and this is Pointless Global News. On today's show, would you like to be a dog for a day? I'll tell you how. Then we go to North Korea, where they have banned divorce and hot dogs. Finally, if you want to make a Gen Z person nervous, just make a phone call to them. Now the details. Iggy Pop once famously sang, "I want to be your dog." A yet-to-be-opened zoo on the island nation of Japan is promising visitors a place where your wish to become an animal comes true for about $500 a pop. The website for the Toko Toko Zoo says the attraction will open on January 26th in the Sachiyama Prefecture near Tokyo, with visitors able to rent a human-sized dog costume for an undetermined amount of time. Have you ever wanted to be an animal? Says the zoo's website, which Google, of course, translated from Japanese. Have you ever imagined yourself as something other than yourself and felt excited? We offer a service that can help you make that wish come true, even if only a little, by having you wear a costume. The zoo is being launched by Toko, the human collie, a Japanese man who actually spent about $20,000 on a custom suit that reproduces the appearance of a real dog walking on four legs. For now, the Toko Toko Zoo will offer guests the use of an Alaskan Malamute costume that features a wagging tail and a mouth that can open and close. If the mouth doesn't work properly, you'll get a 10% discount. Such a deal. Wannabe dogs need to be between 4'11" and 5'10" in height. Hey, that's my range. Maybe I can do this. With a maximum thigh thickness of 24 inches. Check that. I can do that too. Then the website also warns this may be difficult for those with stiff muscles. Well, there goes my chance. Oh well. Bookings were being accepted at least 30 days before visitors plan to get their canine fix, with up to 3 people allowed to join during the experience, giving guests the chance to be part of a pack. Super cute, one commenter posted on YouTube. I remember really wanting to be a cat when I was a kid. Go and live your dreams. In other pointless news, the North Korean government is notorious for restricting the lives of its subjects, but not everything is banned in the country. For instance, divorce and hot dogs were legal in North Korea. And, of course, the key word here is the word were. You know what I mean. In the latest crackdown against insidious Western influence, Kim Jong-un has set his sights on 2 wildly different things. As a New Year's gift to his people, the dictator told them that eating hot dogs was now considered an act of treason. And if the lack of meat tubes of questionable quality is tearing your marriage apart, well, we have more bad news for you. The despot also put his foot down on divorce, dictating that such a thing is absolutely not allowed. After all, North Korea is a happy country. How could any marriage in the glorious Democratic People's Republic be unhappy? Let's start with the stranger ban of the two. During the first days of this year, Kim Jong-un decreed hot dogs illegal. Hot dogs, or frankfurters, or wieners, as some of us like to call them, have recently been gaining immense popularity in North Korea, and it's not too hard to see why. North Koreans don't exactly have a lot of money or food, and hot dogs are an affordable and easy-to-cook source of supposed meat. But if people like something, that means Kim Jong-un hates it. And so the dictator stepped in to put an end to this source of readily available sustenance. Alongside eating them, it's now illegal to sell hot dogs on the streets or to cook them at home. While we couldn't confirm it officially, we suspect that even possessing a hot dog is a big no-no right now. To make matters worse, we're not talking about a misdemeanor here either. According to the regime, hot dog consumption is equal to treason. Anyone caught eating or selling hot dogs will earn a one-way ticket to one of North Korea's infamous labor camps. In an incredible show of goodwill, though, the country's government didn't immediately send current hot dog vendors to the gulag. They only sternly warned them that if they're caught with another hot dog, the train is waiting for them. But you know what else is extremely American in Kim's view? That's right, divorce. Now, even before this, divorce hasn't exactly been acceptable to the North Korean regime. You could and still can legally file for divorce, but the spouse who submitted the application would get sent to a labor training camp. In late 2024, however, Kim changed the rules. Now, if a couple files for divorce, they both get a state-subsidized 6-month trip to a hard labor facility. Part of the reason for the decision is the rising number of divorces in North Korea. The COVID-19 pandemic hit the country's already abysmal economy hard, and the horrendous financial situation resulted in many failed marriages. To try to stop the trend, the North Korean government put in place the Get Divorced, Go to Prison Camp program, yet people were still filing for divorce, so now they've expanded their draconian measure. Just stop and think about this now. This is such a terrible thought. Imagine just how horrible your life must be, that you're ready to file for a divorce knowing it'll land you in a North Korean labor camp. Pretty bad, huh? Yeah. Finally, what's the number one thing Gen Zs are whining about? Oh, God, it is so many. It's a terribly tough call to make. When persnickety teens and 20-somethings aren't busy belly aching over the use of passive-aggressive emojis or the ills of ranch dressing, well, they're apparently griping over anxiety-inducing tasks such as making and receiving formal phone calls. But now, one school is putting those boo-hoos to bed. Phone anxiety is something we come across regularly, says Liz Baxter, a careers advisor at Nottingham College, who explained this to the BBC, of course, in Great Britain, adding that youngsters simply don't have the confidence to use the telephone. The UK institution is offering coaching sessions on phone confidence and etiquette to support Zoomers in overcoming their fear, known as telephonophobia. You heard that right, friends. Emotional symptoms of terror include delaying or avoiding making calls due to heightened distress, feeling extremely nervous prior to, during, and after a call, and obsessing over what will be said amid the discussion. Nausea, an increase in heart rate, shortness of breath, dizziness, and muscular tension are the most common physical manifestations of the revolution. You got to be kidding me. No, I'm not, unfortunately. And for a generation that wants to call all the shots, this odd angst might sound a bit phony. However, recent research suggests that the apprehension to phone calls is associated with social anxiety, which stems from a fear of judgment or humiliation. And Gen Zers would rather be deemed disrespectful brats than be body slammed with the wave of horror that comes with jumping on the horn. Instead, folks aged 27 and younger are more inclined towards texting or communicating on social media platforms such as Instagram, TikTok, and Snapchat, rather than engaging in voice-to-voice conversations, especially when they're work-related or concerning matters of the heart. The group's aversion to giving someone a ring is so intense that heartbreakers within this demographic have even grown accustomed to the brutal act of breaking up with romantic partners via text. Most people would prefer it, said Keen, age 26, previously stated about the digital dumping trend. Went on to say, it saves a really awkward chat. But Baxter hopes to reverse the phone call curse that's plaguing up-and-comers of the world. Her college course comes complete with practical classroom-based sessions during which students strengthen their telephone skills in a series of role-play activities, including answering questions that are commonly asked in interviews. Rookies are also encouraged to call restaurants to ask what time they open, and shops to ask what items they might have in stock, or maybe just do a cold call to someone randomly and ask them if they have Prince Albert in a can, and if they say yes, tell them to let them out. You see, that's a joke. It's a real old joke. Prince Albert is a pipe tobacco in a can, and there's no humor quite like 80-year-old humor. I knew I shouldn't have gone there. Anyway, the exercises test their boundaries in bite-sized ways, according to Baxter. It's unknown to our generation. We've grown up texting each other. Kyle Butterworth, age 28, who spent most of his early 20s dreading phoners, he said that he's beginning to overcome telephonophobia, and he hopes that his peers will too, so that they soon get the hang of it. Make yourself in charge of the situation, he advised. Know what you're going to say before you start the call. Hard to believe they're going to take over the world someday. Oh, well. After a while, you'll get to the point where you know what you're about to say, even before you say it. And it just naturally starts to flow. Boy, kids just say the darndest things, don't they? And that's a wrap for another Pointless Global News. Be sure to follow us wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Tad Flakey. Stay pointless, my friend.